Hey boys and girls, Mr. Bowlby here. I want to talk to you about Andy Warhol for a moment. Andy Warhol was an artist born in Pittsburgh. Though he spent a lot of time in New York City, Andy became famous for what's known as pop art. In pop art, the subject matter or the picture used is really simple, but bold colors are used. And Andy sort of became famous for these groupings of his art where maybe the color is changed, but there's 4 of them featured here. There's 3 of them featured here. Heinz tomato ketchup, as you can see, the subject matter, the ketchup is really simple, but the colors used are really bold and exciting. So again, that's Andy Warhol. He was born in Pittsburgh, spent a lot of time in New York City, but there is actually a museum dedicated just to Andy that is not far from PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Let's talk about our project for a moment. It's going to feature 4 emojis in the style of Andy Warhol. Very simple but bold colors. Let's get started. First step is to take your paper that I've given you. We're going to fold it in half in both directions. So I'm coming across this way. I'm going to crease. I'm going to open it and fold the other way as well. Line up the edge of the paper and crease at the back. Now, I've got 4 sections in this paper. I need to choose with markers or crayons, whatever you've got, I need to choose 4 colors to fill in my background. Now, when you do this, if you're using markers, you're going to want to fill in really nice and neat. I'm sure you've heard of the technique where you go back and forth with the markers to try to make it look a little more even when you're filling in space. Nevertheless, imagine that I have taken my time to fill in each one of these sections with a different color. Maybe I would do red and then violet, green and blue to fill in my background. After I have my background done, I am going to take an extra second, get out a black marker or a black crayon, and I am going to outline my section. So I'm going to take a black marker across all of my fold lines, and check this out, I'm also going to take that black marker around the edge of my paper as well. You can imagine me finishing that. I'm not going to make you watch me do that whole thing here. But anyways, eventually you'll have 4 colors in the background of your main paper, and you will have done your outlines as well. Then you're going to get your circle paper involved, as well as a pencil. I'm going to provide each of you with a handout of different emojis, and you're going to need to select 4 of them. I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to select kind of like this guy right here. I'm digging this one, and then this is a great one, and then the sunglasses for sure. So I'm picking those 4, and on my paper here, before I do any coloring at all, I'm going to use a pencil in case I make mistakes, and I'm going to come in and do my sunglasses here. Take your time with this. Pencil first again, that helps us in case we end up making mistakes. So I've got that guy done. I'm going to come down here and do this one. Again, you're looking at your handout. You're all going to have one of these. Pop art was really simple and bold, so it is okay for us to make these really large and simple. There's that guy. I'm coming up here to do this one with the wonky eyes. I'm liking that guy. And I'm not worried about coloring in anything that's black yet. I'm going to get that, like the eyeballs or the mouth, I'm going to get that done later with my markers. Okay, the last one that I chose was this one that sort of looks worried. I don't know if any of you are using emojis on your in your communication yet, but they're just a simple way to convey emotion or how you're feeling when you are communicating with someone. When I was growing up, when I had my very first cell phone, we used to actually make faces out of the different characters in typing. So this is all new to all of us as of maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago. So these will need colored. When I'm finished coloring them, I'm also going to want to take time to do some outlining on them as well, before I cut them out. So you're going to want to go over all your lines after you color them in. And remember that they don't have to be all the regular emoji colors. You can bring in different colors as well. Last step would be to neatly get a pair of scissors and cut these out. You guessed it, these are going to get glued onto that background paper that you worked on at the end of class. Eventually, your finished project will look a little something like this. I've already shown you this a few times. The only other thing I wanted to share with you is if you want to get some, see how the tears are falling off of the paper as well as the bow? You're going to have some scrap paper, the edge of your paper left over at the end of class. If you wanted to draw and cut out a bow and glue that on, or draw and cut out some tears so that they are kind of coming off of the paper there, that would be perfectly fine. I hope you enjoyed this project inspired by Andy Warhol with 4 different emojis. Have fun.